Hey guys, welcome back to my channel again, and today I just wanted to make a video about talking about my kind of, I guess, not really part 2, but more about my relapse because I had to kind of shove it all in the other video and I wanted to make a separate video talking more about my relapse and what's happening. And the main purpose of this video is the reason or the what caused my relapse, kind of like answering the question, what caused my relapse. So I did a lot of like research on this as well, and because I was interested, because after my recovery, I thought it was impossible to relapse because I see all these like people on YouTube and they didn't go through it, but it's a really common thing apparently, and it happens, and there's like signs when it happens, and any kind of restrictive mindset can lead into a relapse. Intermittent fasting could lead into a relapse. Little things that's not even related to food can cause a relapse, including stress or maybe like joining some kind of sport or being focused more on how your body is, your weight, and all this stuff. And I think for me personally, what caused my relapse was a little bit of everything. A little bit of trying new things, like trying new diets, trying new lifestyles and foods, and trying new all these different things, as well as stress in life, because there's some things I've gone through my personal life, and it's been happening since I think October, when I had like a kind of a mess in my life a little bit and didn't know how to control my life. Then I had, since October of 2000, it would be 2018, so it's been quite a couple months, more than a couple months, and I think just throughout the time I dealt with all this like restrictive binge cycles, and then so that caused me more into relapse because I started worrying about my weight, as well as stress in my life. I went through also depression and some other things like that, anxiety. I started trying different things and it didn't really like sit well with me. And basically, I think that the main cause was, well, there wasn't one. It was just these little things, and I think that's kind of part of relapse, is that it's not just like, oh, I will try this new diet, therefore I have relapsed. It's not really like that, because it's kind of like, oh, I'll try this, what harm can it do? I'll just go back to the way I always was after I'm done. Or, for example, if you just, like, I'll just try intermittent fasting, I'll just try this for a couple days. It gets addicting, and it's very hard to stop. And I did mention this in the other video a little bit, like, there's like a lot of things that caused my relapse and stuff like that, but I just wanted to get into deeper thing about this, and some signs, I guess, of a relapse. And I guess I should do maybe a separate video on like signs of a relapse, but I just wanted to kind of discuss what my causes were. I definitely think that depression did not help, because for me it was kind of, restricting would be a kind of way to control, I guess, or make me feel better, because when you control your weight, you're kind of like, oh, I look good, and ooh, I feel good, and all this stuff, I feel in control, and I think that, then it kind of, you're trying to push down the depression, push down the stresses in your life, kind of distract yourself in a way. For me, that's kind of how it felt. I'm not saying this is fact, I'm saying more how I felt. Then I felt very like, oh, I can control my life now, and I feel so much better, and I think that's part of it. As well as, even though I hate to admit it, I did start working on YouTube around the time of October. I think I posted my first video. It was actually on my birthday, I think, or close to that time. And I think part of my relapse was, I'm not blaming you guys. I don't want you to think that I'm like, oh, it's because of you or anything like that. No. It's just when I was making these videos for you, trying to help y'all, I think that going back looking for, you know, when I made these clips of my old videos of my weight, finding old pictures, just seeing myself at a smaller weight, remember, like, it brought back a lot of memories for me, both good and bad, but also like restrictive memories and all this stuff. And then I as well as reading a lot of comments commenting on weight, not my weight but their own weight. And not that it's bad, guys, I want to help you and everything, but it's just that these little things kind of were like, oh, I remember when I was at that weight, you know, I was starting to kind of like, am I like overweight? Maybe I should be at a smaller weight. I have to be a good example. I have to be healthy. I have to this, and this. And I think I just over-tried too hard, maybe. And I think the main thing was going back, seeing pictures and stuff, and as well, you know, like I would look for thumbnails for my videos, and for example, some of my thumbnails would be, you know, like anorexic people very, very thin, and for me that kind of was triggering without even me realizing. And I want you guys to know it was not your fault. Like, it was my decision, and like I said, it was not the main cause for sure. It was just maybe part of it triggering some things in my brain, but it's totally okay. Like, relapse can happen even without that. Like, it's not like, you know, oh, if it wasn't for this channel or if it wasn't for me making videos or helping y'all, like, I would totally be fine. No, relapse can happen to anyone from anything, and little things can cause it. Comments from other people could cause it, which wasn't in my case. But however, I do have to say, since I was in the gym a lot, I had a lot of people who, I think this is another cause, would, because I train jiu-jitsu, you guys know, MMA, and a lot of people do things like weight cutting and all this, you know, like basically weight cutting is the main thing, and they weigh themselves off, and they do all these, like, you know, it's not a diet, but it's like diet for weight cutting and stuff. And you know, people with a normal mindset towards food, for them it's like they did a weight cut and then, you know, they're done. They don't have to continue it. They don't make a big deal out of it. It doesn't trigger them. But for me, seeing all these people do this, because I would go to competitions, watch and talk to people who competed and cut weight and all this stuff, and for me, I think that was another thing that kind of was like trigger. It's kind of like, oh, I want to weigh myself. Like, ooh, I started weighing myself more and more. I would start from, you know, once a week into every day, and now like multiple times a day. I have to be honest, like it happens. And I know I say the scale is like a lie, and it is, and that's why if you're not weighing yourself, you shouldn't start to, because it's addicting and it's hard to stop. But you know, things like small things like this caused my relapse, or helped, or like kind of like not caused my relapse, but triggered me in a way I didn't think would be triggering. Definitely, I think that the weighing thing at the gym, people like cutting weight, definitely was a bigger trigger than a lot of the other things. But just things like that. Comments, hearing comments from other people, you know, about like, oh, that guy seemed to lose weight. Because, you know, people come to the gym to, you know, get in shape and stuff, and I would hear people, oh, he seemed to lose some weight, or she seemed to lose some weight, and for me it was kind of like, oh, I want to lose some weight too. Like, it's really weird, and it's a weird mindset, but it happens, and you start comparing yourself to other people, and you're like, oh, this person lost this many pounds, why can't I? You know, things like that, and it happens, and it's things, small things that trigger you, small things that causes the relapse. So like right now, what I'm working on is trying to get back up, but it is hard, and I've gotten deeper than I have wanted to ever get back into my relapse, I guess you can say. But it's small baby steps that count. I really want to work on this. I'm happy for you guys' support. The other video of my update video was really supportive. People were saying like, it's okay, we're still here for you. I was afraid to get negative, maybe that's why I was afraid to get back into it. I was afraid to get negative feedback, people thinking I'm a failure, but it is part of the journey, and it doesn't mean I failed. It's just, it's like It's kind of when you trip, you know, like when you're walking somewhere towards a goal and you trip. Like, you don't just stay there, you try to get back up. And depending on the injury, it might be easier or harder to get back up. So it's kind of like that, you know. So I hope this guys helped. I don't know if it did. Comment down if you guys have experienced relapse, if you are experiencing relapse, suggestions for me and other people for relapse, and this big journey to getting back up. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I don't know if this might have helped. I hope it does. I hope it doesn't trigger people. And I understand that maybe someone does think I'm a failure, but for me, I know that I was afraid that I was, but now I know that it's not a sign of failure. It's just a trip, a fall that can definitely be fixed. And it might be hard, but just small progress. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I don't know if it was helpful or not. Comment down below anything helpful for me or others. And thank you so much for watching. Bye!